France, officially the French Republic, is a country located in Western Europe and borders with Belgium and Luxembourg to the north, Germany to the northeast, Switzerland to the east, Italy and Monaco to the southeast, Andorra and Spain to the south, and maintains a maritime boundary with the United Kingdom to the northwest. But amongst these European nations, who does France share the longest border with? Well, one would assume the bigger of the bunch, Spain, Italy and Germany, but the thing is, France does not share its longest border with any of its European neighbours. Instead, it shares its longest border at 730 kilometers long with Brazil, a nation an ocean away. But why is France's longest border with Brazil? Firstly, we must talk about overseas France. While metropolitan France refers to the mainland, overseas France comprises 13 French-administered territories situated beyond Europe. These territories largely represent remnants of the French colonial empire and have retained varying statuses within the French state post-decolonisation. Overseas France serves as a collective term, commonly used in everyday conversation in France, yet it lacks a distinct administrative designation. Notably, the 5 overseas regions, French Guiana, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Mayotte and Réunion, possess identical administrative statuses to France's 13 metropolitan regions. The 6 overseas collectivities, French Polynesia, St. Bartholomew, St. Martin, St. Pierre and Miquelon, Wallis and Futuna, and the French Southern and Antarctic lands enjoy semi-autonomy, while New Caledonia holds autonomous status. As mentioned before, France is an overseas region called French Guiana, which is located on the northern coast of South America in the Guianas and the West Indies. French Guiana is bordered by Suriname to the west and most importantly Brazil to the east and south. Since French Guiana is considered an integral part of France like the other overseas regions, it means that technically French Guiana is France. Which is why the border between French Guiana and Brazil at 730 kilometers long is the longest land border that France shares with another country, as well as one of only 2 borders which France shares with non-European states, the other one being the border with Suriname in the west. But why is French Guiana French? In 1500, Spanish explorers began exploring the Guiana coast and settled the area around Cayenne, the now capital of French Guiana, in 1503. French merchants from the French port city of Rouen established a trading centre in the coastal village of Saint-Mary in 1624, and more later settlers founded Cayenne in 1643. Guyana evolved into a slave society, with plantation owners importing African slaves to work on large sugar and other commodity plantations, leading to a significant increase in the population. The Treaty of Breda officially transferred the territory to France on July 31st, 1667, resulting in the expulsion of the Dutch, who had taken control of Cayenne in 1664 by 1676. Slavery persisted in French Guiana until the French Revolution, when the National Convention voted to abolish the French slave trade and slavery in France's overseas colonies in February 1794. This decision followed the uprising of enslaved Haitians in the colony of Saint-Domingue, present-day Haiti, which had begun months earlier. Thus, inhabitants of the territory were made French citizens with representation in the French Parliament after 1877. In 1852, the French repurposed the territory as a penal colony where convicts from across the Second French Empire were sent for imprisonment, with more than 70,000 French convicts deported to French Guiana between 1852 and 1939. This period was marked by harsh conditions typical of many penal colonies, with one notorious example being Devil's Island, located in the Salvation Islands off the coast of French Guiana. On March 19, 1946, French Guiana transitioned from colony status to become a department of France, and in 1974 it attained regional status. It also integrated into the European Union and utilises the euro as its official currency. The region experienced post-war economic stagnation, which was somewhat alleviated by the establishment of the Guyana Space Centre, now the European Space Agency's primary launch site, situated near the equator. Despite these efforts, long-term economic improvements were limited, and high rates of unemployment persisted, leading to disdain among many residents with French administration. Now, the border between Brazil and French Guiana, technically France. The Brazil-France border is located between the Brazilian state of Amapá, also known as Brazilian Guiana, and French Guiana, and is 730 kilometers in length. As mentioned, it is the longest border France shares with another country, despite not being located in mainland Europe. France's second longest, and therefore the largest with a European country, is the one with Spain at 623 kilometers long. The Oyapock River forms most of the border, and is spanned by the Franco-Brazilian Binational Bridge, the only bridge crossing the border, which connects the towns of Oyapock in Brazil and St. George's in French Guiana. The foundation of this border dates back to the Peace Treaty of Utrecht, a collection of treaties signed by the conflicting parties in the War of Spanish Succession, held in the Dutch city of Utrecht between April 1713 and February 1715. Among these treaties was an agreement signed on April 11, 1713 between France and Portugal, which established the Oyapock River as the dividing line between their respective colonial territories in South America. Despite the treaty stating the Oyapock River as the border, disputes persisted between France and Brazil. Brazil claimed sovereignty over the region as the heir of the Portuguese Empire, leading to ongoing disagreements over the centuries due to uncertainty surrounding the river's precise location, as it lay within the Amazon rainforest. France identified the Oyapock River mentioned in the treaty as corresponding to the Araguari River in Brazil, while Brazil argued that it referred to the Oyapock River. The dispute between France and Brazil persisted for 2 centuries, during which both countries established military posts and religious missions in the contested area. This tension culminated in the Amapá Question, which reached a critical point on May 15, 1895, when French troops invaded Brazilian territory up to the Araguari River, occupying approximately 260,000 square kilometers of land. Following this military confrontation, the territorial dispute was resolved by an international court ruling on December 27, 1897. The court's decision favoured Brazil, allowing it to retain control over the disputed region. On December 1, 1900, the territorial dispute was settled in Brazil's favour through international arbitration in Switzerland, with Swiss politician Walter Hauser serving as the arbitrator. The court considered documents and texts collected by France and Portugal at the time, and concluded that those gathered by the Portuguese provided stronger support for Brazil's claim that the border should be established at the Oiapoque River. Furthermore, the tribunal also considered the historical context of the territory and its inhabitants. Apart from minor French settlements along the coast, the entire region in question was inhabited by Brazilians and indigenous peoples who identified themselves as Brazilian nationals, which is why today, France's longest border is not with any of its European neighbours, but with Brazil, a nation an ocean away. This hasn't made Jack, and if you're in French Guiana right now, please leave a comment down below.